I knew things were about to go sideways the second I saw that woman in the pearl-white Lexus aiming her phone at my wife's gas pump like she was catching a crime on live TV. There was my wife, just finishing up, receipt flapping from the machine, when this lady, let's call her Karen, because what else would you call her, whispered into her phone in a way she clearly thought was stealthy. Yes, I'm reporting a gas theft in progress. That's not a joke, not a prank. She was actually calling 911, all dramatic, narrating like she was auditioning for Cops, Suburbia edition. According to her, my wife was the most dangerous thing at that Chevron station, and all she'd done was swipe, pump, grab her receipt, and breathe the wrong air. I wish I could say I was surprised, but in our neighborhood, drama has a way of finding us. By the time I came strolling back from grabbing Gatorades, because marriage means always staying hydrated, Karen was already deep into a full-blown courtroom drama for the dispatcher's benefit. Hostile, erratic, possibly under the influence of accelerants, she said, dead serious, as if my wife had huffed so many fumes she might combust. I just stood there, trying not to burst out laughing, because you can't make this stuff up. Karen blocked us in with her Lexus, screeching, "This is a crime scene," at anyone who came near, waving her phone like a sheriff's badge. My wife stood there, receipt in hand like it was Exhibit A, and gave me that look. Parents know it, the look you use when your kids got peanut butter on the TV and you're just waiting for the story to play out. That's when the cavalry arrived. 2 squad cars, lights blazing, and Karen lit up like she'd just won the neighborhood lottery. "That's her," she screamed. "She stole $40 in gas. I caught it all." She tried to destroy the receipt. The cops, both of whom looked like they'd survived at least 6 nonsense calls already that morning, just raised an eyebrow, asked if my wife had paid, and when she handed over the receipt, they broke down laughing. Not a chuckle, full on, leaning against the car laughter. Karen's triumphant face turned to stone as the cop read off, $63 and some gum. It was more than Karen had guessed, which, honestly, is peak Karen. But if you thought that'd be the end, you haven't met her type. When the officers told her to take a breath and maybe sit in her car, she pivoted and pointed at me. "That's the getaway driver." I almost thanked her. I mean, who wouldn't want to be mistaken for a heist wheelman, just once? But instead of letting it go, Karen demanded the officers cite us for harassment, for intimidating her while she did her civic duty. My wife, never missing a beat, offered to buy her a coffee. You'd have thought she'd thrown gasoline on a fire. The officers separated everyone before things devolved into a parking lot cage match. One of them pulled us aside and, between fits of laughter, told us this happens more than you'd believe. People get twitchy about gas prices, but this one, she's special. Meanwhile, Karen started giving a dissertation about how gasoline theft funds terrorism, and yes, she said it loud enough for everyone to hear. A trucker hollered, "Lady, you need a hobby." She threatened to call the FBI. But the twist came when the station manager walked out, nervous, not at her, but at us. Turns out Karen wasn't just some crank. She was the local HOA president, the same one who'd been terrorizing the neighborhood over mailbox heights and lawn colors. She had a reputation for bulldozing anyone who got in her way, and now she'd found a fresh audience. As we left, my wife joked that we were probably about to be subpoenaed by the HOA's kangaroo court. She wasn't far off. We barely made it home before Karen's Lexus was parked outside her place, trunk open, regaling the neighbors with a breathless version of events. She pointed as we drove by, like a newscaster narrating a car chase. That night, the HOA blasted out a community safety bulletin about a serious gasoline theft incident, not naming us, but you'd have to be a goldfish not to connect the dots. My wife laughed, but I felt my jaw clench. The next day, our neighbor Mark, guy's a walking neighborhood gossip column, texted, "Is Karen talking about you? She just told me you're running a gas scam." I sent him a photo of the receipt and told him I was the ringleader. He replied with 15 laughing emojis. But the pettiness got under my skin. So, for the first time ever, we decided to show up at the HOA meeting. Usually it's retirees arguing about mulch, but this time the room was packed, everybody buzzing about the incident. Karen sat at the front like Judge Judy, binder ready, water bottle in hand, launching straight into her speech. "As you all know, we recently experienced a troubling episode." She gestured at us, like a magician revealing the trick. I raised my hand. Just wondering, are receipts now required for community safety? Because we brought one. Laughter rippled through the room. Karen tried to recover, claiming criminals often forge documentation. I shot back. Ma'am, if I could forge Chevron receipts, I wouldn't live under your HOA. More laughter. But then she doubled down, announcing she'd reported the gas station to the county. Now she wasn't just after us, but the business itself. My wife leaned over. She's going to get herself sued before she gets us fined. The meeting spiraled. Karen hijacked every topic, linking everything from streetlights to playground repairs back to gas thieves. Afterward, Mark and a few others shook their heads and said, "Don't sweat it. Everyone knows Karen's unhinged." But not everyone. Some people gave us the side eye, like maybe we really were masterminding a fuel cartel. The next day, a hand-delivered letter showed up from Karen, official HOA letterhead and all, accusing us of conduct unbecoming and demanding we attend a disciplinary hearing. My wife nearly spit out her coffee laughing. I got busy, gathering everything. Emails, the infamous receipt, texts from neighbors, even a cop's laughter at the scene. My cousin's a lawyer. He just about died laughing when I told him. "Don't fight her in fake court," he said. "Beat her in the real one." But then another twist. Karen went to the local news. Next thing I know, there's a crew at the gas station, the manager's blowing up my phone, and that night Karen's on TV, spinning tales of how she single-handedly busted a gas theft ring. My wife just looked at me. Congrats, we're TV villains now. A few days later, county investigators knocked on our door. I assumed Karen had finally convinced someone we were Bonnie and Clyde. Turns out, they were looking for her. She'd filed so many complaints about gas fraud that her own Lexus got flagged for mileage discrepancies. She'd been fudging her odometer to keep the value up for resale, petty, but still fraud. Right on cue, Karen charged across the street, phone camera rolling, yelling at the investigators that we were framing her. They told her they were actually here for her, and she just about short-circuited. When they asked to inspect her Lexus, she refused, claiming harassment. The crowd gathering on the sidewalk was openly rooting for the investigators. Mark brought a lawn chair and toasted the spectacle with a beer. But Karen wasn't done. Flyers started appearing. Community alert. Retaliation against your HOA president. She was casting herself as a whistleblower under attack, even organizing a community safety march down Main Street, bullhorn in hand, raving about gas conspiracies. Local news picked it up again, more for the circus than the substance. But then a journalist dug into her past and found a history of wild accusations, from tree laundering by landscapers to unauthorized solicitation by a Girl Scout troop. Suddenly, the neighborhood turned on her. Someone taped a Chevron receipt to the clubhouse wall. Someone else made a shirt that said Accelerant Survivor. At the next HOA meeting, Karen promised a video reveal that would prove everything. The place was packed, people bringing popcorn like it was movie night. She queued up grainy security cam footage, just me walking my dog. She narrated, "There, that man is casing my vehicle." I raised my hand. "Karen, that's me. And my dog, who's currently at home chewing a tennis ball." Laughter filled the room. Then she showed footage of my wife carrying groceries. Classic reconnaissance behavior, Karen insisted. Somebody in the back yelled. Or she was balancing a gallon of milk. More laughter. For her grand finale, she pulled up a YouTube video, literally, with the logo still visible, showing some unrelated pump in Texas. "This proves tampering," she claimed. Someone immediately found the original online and called her out for plagiarism. The crowd lost it. Boos, calls for her resignation, even the board's vice president trying to restore order. Her phone rang loudly on speaker, caller ID flashing, county investigator for everyone to see. Karen slammed her laptop shut and stormed out, muttering that it wasn't over. But the room knew. The spell was broken. The next morning, our neighborhood was flooded with memes, flyers with raccoon cartoons, and odometer bandits beware. Karen went from sheriff to punchline overnight. But she wasn't done. A certified letter from a law firm arrived. She was suing us for defamation. I almost choked laughing. My cousin, the lawyer, said it was a joke. No real attorney would take it. And if she tried, we had a countersuit that'd make her regret ever buying a printer. But Karen still had one more move. One evening, police knocked again, this time more serious. Someone had reported we were storing stolen gasoline in barrels in the garage. The cops checked, found nothing but bikes, boxes, and a stubborn lawnmower. They were embarrassed, quietly admitting this wasn't the first false report from Karen's address. That's when I realized this wasn't petty drama anymore. It was harassment. The cops said they'd document everything, that repeated false reports could mean charges. The next day, Karen was outside with a clipboard, writing down license plates of anyone who stopped by, taking photos of our house. She yelled, "Smile for evidence." Mark finally confronted her, beer in hand. "Lady, the only thing I'm betting is my cholesterol," he told her. But the reports escalated. Fire department, ATF, even Homeland Security. The ATF actually came to check our recycling bins. Karen had circled them in red marker and claimed they were barrels for gasoline smuggling. The agents left shaking their heads, but my wife had had enough. "This stops now," she said. So we fought back. We compiled every report, flyer, email, every neighbor's testimony, even got documentation from the county on her odometer scam. My cousin drafted a harassment suit airtight enough for a law school exam. But before we could file, fate did the work. Mark texted a photo. Karen's Lexus was being towed on the side of the highway. Her odometer scam had finally caught up with her. The news spread like wildfire. Karen's throne was gone. She marched into the next HOA meeting on foot, binders slamming on the table, raving about conspiracies. Someone asked if she'd taken the bus. Others snickered about odometer tampering. The board, emboldened, finally voted her out as president. She stormed out shouting, "History will vindicate me," but nobody followed her. After that, things calmed down. The kids rode bikes again. People smiled and waved. The infamous gas receipt went up in our garage, framed, right next to the lawnmower. Our story became the neighborhood legend. Friends told us, this belongs on Reddit. And maybe it does. Because in the end, Karen lost her Lexus, her HOA crown, and the only thing she ever really valued, control. We learned something too. Sometimes the best way to win isn't to yell louder. It's to let people trip over their own lies until they fall flat on their face. Karen turned a $63 gas receipt into a saga, a simple pit stop into a battleground, and her Lexus into a casualty. Karma doesn't always knock politely. Sometimes it honks, flashes its lights, and tows your SUV away for everyone to see. So let me ask you, what's the wildest neighborhood saga you've ever lived through? Whose side are you on when community drama goes off the rails? Drop your stories and tell me where you stand on justice, pettiness, and a little old-fashioned karma.